proper mechanisms for government's price support policy, Kutubu and Bosavi People call for a new electorate, and boarding students sent home over financial issues. Welcome. This is Saturday's news. I'm Kilawani. Agriculture Minister John Simon has admitted that there are no proper mechanisms for government's price support policy. Despite the government heavily investing in this much talked about agenda, DAL is yet to formally outline components of how the funding will be distributed and used to support the policy. The Agriculture Minister says about 50 million kina is being allocated for the price support policy.
Everyone is thinking all is okay. All is not okay.
The Agriculture Minister says the price support policy is a key economic intervention where the wider stakeholders, government and relevant authorities will align their functions so farmers around the country will benefit from a reasonable buying price. Minister Simon says this is a key intervention driven to assist rural farmers. He is now very concerned that DAL has no working framework to support the policy.
We don't have policy on price support. So price support came to department not this year. Last year about October. The funding was released about October. And that's when I told Secretary, we need to have a price support policy. From October until now, and the funds were rolled out without price support policy.
Since taking office, the Marapel-led government has prioritized the agriculture sector as a key driver to alleviate the declining economic state of the country. Under the agriculture sector, the price support policy is an initiative to compensate and assist farmers. Commodities like coffee and cocoa are among the first list of produce targeted. According to Minister Simon, the sideline DAL Secretary has failed to develop proper data and coordinate liaison between stakeholders who will implement the policy.
There's never been good communication, good consultative meeting with all the commodity boards. We don't have data. We don't keep data in the department. We're lacking actual data. How would you know what's happening in its districts and its provinces? There is no connectivity.
Last week, the National Executive Council made a decision to suspend DAL Secretary Daniel Kombuk over alleged abuse of nearly 22 million kina, funds specifically to support farmers around the country. Minister Simon says Kombuk will now be tasked to answer to these serious allegations.
He should take this as it's a good opportunity for him to clear himself, and it's good for him as well. While in his suspension, at least he clears his name out on the allegations that were raised.
Jaglo Power Jr., National EMTV News.
Cameron Secondary School in Alotau, Milne Bay Province, is one of the top 5 performing schools in the country over the last 5 years. Approximately 300 students make that academic standing possible each year. 160 of the total number of students are boarding students. These 160 students' academic performance will be gravely affected as they have been sent home and will attend school as day students. This is due to the financial situation the school is in at the moment. The school says the non-payment of the government's TFF funding owed to the school for the 2020 and 2021 school years is to blame. Cameron Secondary School in Alotau, Milne Bay Province is sending home its boarding students as the school is currently unable to provide food for the students whilst boarding. About 50 students vacated the boarding facilities last Thursday. According to Mason Blackie, a science teacher in the school, about 160 students will be sent home due to the school's financial situation at present.
At the moment, we have a financial situation with the school. That is, the school does not have enough money to run the school. Whatever little fees that the students have paid in for their project fees was being used up. And so the school at the moment cannot keep the boarding students at the campus right now.
A parent picking up his children expressed his frustrations.
Being a parent of this second school, I'm so concerned about my child, and also applies to every child who comes to school in here. And it is a greatest concern that we need the government to look at this area where our children has to go complete their education this year. And coming to encounter this problem, I know that there are the parents that they can afford to assist the children. Others who cannot, the children may go home, and that is where they will just waste their time in the village.
This parent told MTV News that even the parents dug deep into their own pockets to try and assist the school, having concern for their children's education.
What we did was the parents to contribute some money to help the children to complete the year's the education of the year.
Mr. Blackie stated much of the problem is owed to the government not paying the TFF funding.
The students have already paid lodging and boarding fees, but I think they have already utilized that money, and so they are waiting for the TFF to come in from the government, but it hasn't been released at the moment. And so that has caused inconvenience for the school to keep the students at the moment.
Bulk of the students sent home live outside of Alotau town. One of them says his parents cannot afford the transport fare for a travelling time of 2 hours.
I live far from the school at Awayama, and if I have to travel from Awayama to town, it will take 2 hours for me to travel, and I pay 5 kina. But seeing this situation, my parents would not afford to pay my bus fare.
Because of the current situation that's happening in Milne Bay, we don't have much transport, so no, I would say that I wouldn't arrive here on time, and because of our policy, I'll be sent home. And I don't think my landing year will be a good one for this year.
Meanwhile, MTV has reached out to the Department of Education regarding the issue on the delay in TFF funding. And Department Secretary Dr. Uke Kombra responded saying the department is currently processing 50 million kina to send to forward vocational, secondary and high schools throughout the country. He says the 50 million kina will hopefully be sent out next week. Dr. Kombra says in the meantime, parents must pay their component of the 38%. Waigani Christian College founder and director Benjamin Moole has called for financial support from parents to help build a 14-in-1 classroom. The classroom will cater for the growing number of students from elementary to secondary school. He says the school is struggling financially as most funds are being used for teachers' salaries and other resources.
I want to ask you parents, you can pay school fees, but if you are working with national planning, are you working with finance, are you working with OSAID, are you working with European Union, or some organization that you see some funds available to build schools, I really need your support. Because the fees that you are paying, it's not enough to do extra development. It goes only to the salaries of teachers and power bills and other expense. But I really want to put up teachers' houses. I want to put up one big hall so that all of us will sit inside here and have a meeting. But I don't have money. And now you see this classroom. I built this classroom, 14-in-1. I'm going to build 14 classrooms in one building. I cut the rock. I'm middle-aged, I will go home. But this school, I'm building it for you, parents, and the future generation, this school. I cut the rocks, and I ordered cement mixture to come and pour the cement, and I'm going to build 14 classrooms in one building. Now, no money, coronavirus and no money, then the building is there, and I need your support. If you are around, some parents around here, if you really want to support this school, the building is here. You can come, so we can talk. You say some ways, okay, you come and we build this classroom.
You're watching National MTV News. More stories when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. The Kutubu and Bosavi people in Southern Highlands have renewed their call for Kutubu, Bosavi and Mount Sisa LLG to be a separate electorate. Leaders of these communities presented a submission to officers representing the Electoral Boundary Commission recently in front of hundreds. They want this submission to be considered, stating these areas do not receive effective and equitable service delivery in the past years.
The gathering is a significant approach for the Kutubu, Bosavi and Mount Sisa people. This is not the first time to call for a review of the electoral boundary. They proposed this in 2011 and 2012. A leader says it is time people in this part of Southern Highlands become an electorate. Officers from the Electoral Boundary Commission were presented with a submission proposing the split of the Nipa Kutubu electorate. The obvious reason was the limited service delivery in parts of Kutubu, Bosavi and Mount Sisa LLGs. They believe this is a step their past leaders have fought for the benefit of the future generation.
You kiss him bagrap, you kiss him dust. All blow you all karami go come. You cry yet. No one one blow voice. That's why me blow talk. Government you must consider it. Not giving me blood electorate. All blow me blow yet. But come on voice blow me blow. Me blow like him Kutubu Bosavi electorate.
With parts of Kutubu and Bosavi sharing land boundary with other major gas and oil projects, the locals demand a plea to be heard by authorities.
The star has shined, the fire has burned. But we are cooking. Me are cooking. If it means you are moving Russian movie bridge, but me are Russian. If it means you are me, Alex, but me go pass him 9 blood, well, let me pass him slate.
They have proposed a split for the open electorate, Kutubu Bosavi Open and Nipa Plateau Open. These proposed electorates are set on the existing boundaries for 3 LLGs, Lake Kutubu, Mount Bosavi and Mount Sisa. An officer from EBC says the submission will be presented to relevant authorities.
Mibla team become longan, mibla block sim tintin blabla, heavy blabla, worry blabla, black write him down. You know by put him tintin blow me, or tintin lot team become longan, by black sim tintin na worry blabla, taso by put him.
In August 2015, a report from NRI's Dr. Thomas Webster identified Nipa Kutubu as one of the electorate that need immediate separation. The report also stated that if a split is done, levels of government will be able to adequately use funding to deliver services to the people.
This was presentation belong, this was proposal belong Nipa electorate to be known as Kutubu Bosavi Open Electorate.
Jagla Pavet Jr. National EMTV News.
President of a rural local level government in Central Province was voted out of office in an LLG meeting due to alleged misuse of office and failure in discharging his duties. 16 ward councillors of the 20 wards in the Mekeo LLG voted out John Apini through a vote of no confidence in BEREINA, witnessed by Central Province Assembly Clerk Waya Yamuge and local MP Peter Isoaimo.
The vote of no confidence transpired recently at the Karukuhiri headquarters in BEREINA Central Province. The removal of the LLG president from office was based on his failure in discharging his duties since his appointment as president on August 11, 2019. The call was made by ward councillors who said was based on evidence and facts relating to misuse of LLG funds, failure to conduct assembly meetings, and allegations of operating in Port Moresby whilst illegally accessing LLG funds without a budget and annual activity plan.
President of Mekeo Rural Local Government is in breach of the following. 1. The President is in his position has a conflict of interest in discharging his duties. 2. Demean his office. 3. Allow the personal integrity to be called into question.
In a motion to move the vote of no confidence, Ward 5 member of Inawit, Aisauri, said there was no budget presentation on the LLG floor of Assembly passed to appropriate funds for the LLG operations since 2019. He says under Section 53 of the LLG Government Administration Act 1997, there is enough evidence to call on the minister responsible for provincial and local level government affairs to direct an investigation into the Mekeo LLG books for auditing purposes.
The ward members are mandated leaders and they have to be informed for the procedures followed to access the rural local level government funds. A. Under what guidelines did the President comply with to access funds for the Mekeo rural local level government for expenditure?
Meanwhile, the ousted President has indicated to dispute the vote of no confidence challenge and will pursue the matter before the courts. Local MP Peter Isoamo said it is up to the ousted President and 5 other ward councillors as aggrieved parties to seek legal redress should they wish to.
Collective working relationship and dialogue in politics is very, very important. You may have not, or you might not have, is beside the point, so long as you attend to your ward members and find means and ways to find a solution.
Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Umiyet Real Estate Limited, a nationally owned company, has expanded to Alotau, Milne Bay Province. After 800 rental properties, 600 land titles and 4 lodges around the country in the past 10 years, the company now owns its very first hotel. Umiyet Real Estate Limited has just bought off Alotau International Hotel. Umiyet Real Estate Limited now owns Alotau Bay Hotel, formerly Alotau International Hotel. Last Thursday saw the official opening of the hotel under the new management. Owner and Managing Director Eke Lama says it was a genuine buy-off from Airways Limited.
The media only talk, me grabbing all this land, which is not true. They sell it to me, I bought it from them. The recent one, this one here, Airways Laguna, it was struggling to sell for 4 years. I'm not upselling, very hard. People have no money, but Miko want them money and me buy them.
The hotel is the second property in Alotau, following the first Umiyet Lodge in Alotau in 2019, just outside of the town located in Taudikwa. Mayor of Alotau, Peter Elliott, welcomed Umiyet business operations with a special request.
Me, as the head of the town in here, I'd like to leave a challenge to you here if you can, as much as possible, employ most of our youth who are running around and make sure Milne Bay is the first priority.
Lama says the success of the company is owed to hard work and commitment. Despite COVID-19 and social issues within the town and the province, Lama sees an opportunity to grow.
Time maybe come up, all white men but go finish. All foreigners. Me. All like killing me, all like fighting me, all like bagarapping me too, all but things twice. So time all white man, this like come now. All white man come out. All Salem Longan, me by him so that this is why Mosem. Mana I'm through Papua New Guinea. Na I'm no worry law, heavy come out. Number 2, this is like I'm no heavy blow me. Suppose online go now. Some of the store closed, some of the hotels and motels closed. Who said by saving? Who said by saving this local life?
The Climate Change Development Authority, in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, recently held a stakeholder consultation workshop on National Adaptation Plan. This is part of a series of consultation workshops held in various provinces. The workshop provides an opportunity to inform all stakeholders on the need to have a national adaptation plan and how to implement it.
The National Adaptation Plan Consultation Workshop was held in the nation's capital. This follows a similar consultation workshop held in West New Britain Province earlier this month. The workshop saw over 30 participants from government agencies, private sector and development partners in attendance. With climate change becoming a major issue in the country, the Climate Change Development Authority and UNDP have been working on many projects, including the National Adaptation Plan. The National Adaptation Plan Workshop is aimed at raising awareness to strengthen adaptation planning and implementation in the country. The objective of the plan is to reduce vulnerability to the impacts of climate change by building adaptive capacity and resilience, and to integrate climate change adaptation into relevant policies, programs and actions. The regional workshop also provides an opportunity to inform the stakeholders on the need of having a national adaptation plan and how the plan can be implemented at the sub-national level. UNDP team leader John Paulsen says UNDP will continue to work with CCDA to ensure the plan is operational and captured in existing plans and budgetary processes. During the workshop, participants took a deep dive into the sectoral and government gaps and vulnerability assessments at provincial level. The National Adaptation Plan is expected to be a strategic tool to support the country's compliance with the Climate Change Management Act. It also strengthens resilience of communities and institutions. Rayan Lakingu, National, EMTV News.
Tukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Round 8 of the Digicel Cup will see matches played in Kimbe, West New Britain and Minj Jiwaka Province for the first time this season.
Wide, finding some space through the middle.
Two new venues have been given approval to host Digicel Cup matches for the first time this season, with Minj and Kimbe, along with the usual venues in Port Moresby and Lae, hosting the Round 8 matches this weekend. All matches will be played on Sunday, 25th of July. The Kimbe Cutters will have the home ground advantage as they take on the Mount Hagen Eagles at Humphreys Oval at 2 p.m., while Minj will host a doubleheader at the Jonah Ambane Oval. Up first with a 12:30 p.m. kickoff, we'll see the Goroka Lahanis taking on the Enga Mioks. In the second match, home side Wagi Tumbes will take on the Gulf Iso at 3 p.m. The Lae Snakes Tigers will play the Agmak Rabal Gurias in Lae. Port Moresby will host the other doubleheader. The first match will see the Central Dabaris taking on the Mendi Muruks at 12:30 p.m. While in the second match, the Port Moresby Vipers will take on the Hela Wigmen at 3 p.m. Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
A one-week volleyball tournament held in Kore Village in Rigo Central Province ended on Thursday. 25 teams around Rigo Coast Rigo District took part in the 4-day tournament hosted by the Kore community. The grand final was played between Team Rovole and host Koregolo Team 1.
Team Rovole caused the upset of the tournament, thrashing the Koregolo Team 1 3-0 in the grand final match of the Kore Volleyball Tournament. The 25-23, 25-18 and 25-20 scoreline was achieved with good ball control in passing that gave the setter the opportunity to link up points for the Rovoles. Koregolo with height advantage got the supporters on their feet with their power spikes. But they were simply outplayed by Rovole's well-structured pattern of play led by experienced Jamas players from the NCD Volleyball Association. Both teams, similar in color, put up an entertaining show to end the tournament. Rovole bowed out with 1,000 kina cash prize as the winners, while the second place Koregolo bagged 500 kina as the runner-ups. Rovole's captain Junior Kilo was excited with the outcome of the tournament. He says their participation in the competition was also to share their experiences with the rural-based volleyball players.
We was a play tournament like any tournament come up, we was go on a place. And one was something in black and promoting volleyball kind of rural areas. Lo make all sabe lo sam do good all way to play volleyball. Na me must all boys to me all kalau mangim da mix boys mi da kantap. Mi bla help all plus mangilias. Me excited to win.
Korewolo, who lacked the team's combination, had no good ball running patterns to contain the much shorter and faster opponents. But the host team, despite going down 3-0 in the finals, was happy with the results, stating it was a good experience.
So, me lose but feeling blow me hamamas because the first time don't play grand final. Like inside the grand final, Central, Korean no got named side lo volleyball. So now this tournament come up and we can finish the grand final. So now me hamamas straight that Korea got named this tournament.
Suli Trukai Sports.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, Port Moresby and Popondetta, cloudy periods with patchy rain. Daru and Alotau, few showers. Kerema, cloudy with few showers. And the Momase region, Ley, cloudy with few showers. Medang, brief showers. Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorm. The New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, few showers. Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka, partly cloudy. Kimbe, brief showers. And the Highlands region, all centers, cloudy with rain periods, then morning fog. Forecasts for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samarai Islands with waters of Finchafen through Vitias Dampier Straits to Siasi Long Islands, seas 2 to 3 meters. Waters of Samarai Islands, Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, seas 1 to 2 meters. Waters of north of Cape Vogel through Huon Gulf to Finchafen, with waters north of Long Island to Medang to Karkar Island, to Wewak to Aitape to Vanimo, and northern PNG Indonesian border, with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, with waters of New Ireland to New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas. Coral seas. Seas moderate with east to southeast winds of 15 to 20 knots. Solomon seas. Seas slight with southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. Bismarck seas. Seas slight with east to southeast winds of 10 to 15 knots. Pacific Ocean seas slight to moderate with east to southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sport and weather for Saturday, the 24th of July 2021. Until next time, be safe. Bye for now.